I am Ava, 25 years old. Orphaned at a young age due to my parents' fatal car crash, I found myself in an orphanage with no familial support. After spending about 4 years there, I was adopted by a couple who turned out to be billionaires. My life took a turn towards wealth and fulfillment. However, my adoption was kept discreet by my adoptive parents, who preferred not to make it a public spectacle. As I transitioned into adulthood and established my own place, my adoptive parents decided to expand their business ventures in Europe. It was during this period that I crossed paths with William, my now ex-husband. William and I met in college and quickly developed a liking for each other. Despite William's amiable and caring nature, there was an underlying issue. His family did not approve of me. We became an official couple after our college days, but William waited until we were both well settled in our lives to introduce me to his parents. William cautioned me about his parents' tendency to be judgmental about their children's significant others. I, however, disliked meeting parents and found it nerve-wracking. If given the choice, I would have delayed it repeatedly. By the time William finally introduced me to his parents, we had been dating for 5 years and were already engaged. This, in itself, posed a potential problem for his William, who hadn't even gotten to know me as his girlfriend. I vividly remember expressing my anxiety to William the day before our scheduled meeting with his parents. "They're going to hate me," William sighed. "William, they won't, I promise you." "Do you not think that they'll be shocked to find out that we're engaged?" I questioned. "Well, yeah, but I don't think it will be that big of a deal," he responded. "Are you being serious right now? You were scared about introducing me to them because you know how judgmental they are, and you think introducing me as your fiancé is not going to make them judge me even more? Look, even if they do, will what they say really matter? It won't to me. But I don't know about you. You always seem so careful about them. I promise you that it won't affect or matter to me at all." "All right, if you say so, but do you think maybe we should just not tell them we're engaged and then like a month or so later we should tell them? Will that make you feel any better about this whole thing? Because I have no problem with either of the options. I think we should hide it just in case. I'll do anything to get on their good side. You have nothing to worry about. I'll be there with you no matter what." "Thanks, sweetie." The only reason I had been freaking out so much was that whenever I suggested that William tell his parents about me, he would make a whole fuss about them not going to approve of me. Now at this point, I began to kind of understand why. You see, William's family was pretty rich and they loved to live lavishly. They wanted that for their children as well. And the only way they accepted their children dating was if they also mingled with people who were as rich or even richer than them. The way I was living back then was by no means rich according to their standards. I hadn't told William about my family because I didn't see the point of it. Plus, by the time I figured out why he was so adamant about not letting me introduce myself to his parents, I believed it was unnecessary for William's parents to know the extent of my father's wealth. My desire was for them to appreciate me for who I am, rather than associating their opinion with my financial background. Naively, I assumed that genuine affection could be cultivated in this manner, but my optimism proved misplaced. Our meeting with William's parents took place at a sophisticated restaurant, William holding my hand as we entered. Wearing my engagement ring discreetly on a necklace, I aimed to keep it with me without drawing undue attention. Upon reaching our table, William's parents already wore expressions of displeasure, a reaction he had forewarned, citing their strict punctuality preferences. Unfortunately, we had arrived a mere 5 minutes late, setting the tone for a rocky start. His parents subjected me to a disdainful once-over and proceeded to ignore my presence, engrossed in conversation with William. Feeling increasingly diminished, I kept my head down, contemplating an early departure. William eventually directed his parents' attention toward me, introducing me as his girlfriend. Their greeting was hardly warm, as his parents expressed a forced pleasantry. However, the atmosphere grew tense when William's mother couldn't resist a backhanded comment, implying that it was not a pleasure to meet me. William intervened, attempting to defuse the situation. The conversation took a turn when William's parents questioned our college connection. Their inquiry, laden with insinuations about the prestigious nature of the institution and its high tuition, left me feeling scrutinized. William's father went so far as to comment on my ability to gain admission and afford the tuition. William, attempting to shield me from their judgment, cut in, defending my achievements. Despite my explanation of earning a full scholarship, expressing gratitude for the education and the opportunity to meet William, his parents dismissed my achievements, asserting that my connection with William was merely a strategic move to benefit from his wealth. Their derogatory remarks extended to my appearance, insinuating that I lacked in looks and depended on William's financial standing. It became evident that my efforts to convey my genuine intentions and accomplishments were overshadowed by their preconceived notions. The dinner turned into an ordeal, leaving me to question whether genuine acceptance could ever be achieved in the face of such deep-seated biases. "Enough of this. We're leaving. Come on, Ava," William firmly declared as he grabbed my hand and we walked out. I was in shock at the way William's parents had treated me. I couldn't believe that people could be so openly mean to someone's face. I was too stunned to feel anything. The car ride back home was silent because William was fuming. When we reached home, he made sure to check on me, but at that moment I really didn't know how to feel. I had dressed up nicely and made an effort to sit properly. I didn't order anything extravagant, but somehow, without me saying a word, Oliver and Luna made their judgments about me. William didn't speak to his parents for a while after that. They texted him, accusing us of being disrespectful for walking out on them during lunch. William didn't respond, only reaching out about a month later to inform them that he had gotten engaged. His parents weren't thrilled, but William threatened them with no contact if they said or did anything against me. They offered to pay for our wedding, but with the condition that they got to make all the decisions. Obviously, neither William nor I wanted that, so we decided on the next best thing: elope. My parents were in Europe and they knew about our elopement. They were just happy that I was happy and sent us a gift. William raised his eyebrows at the expensive painting they sent, but I dismissed it, attributing it to their ability to spend money. After getting married, we encountered Oliver and Luna again at a party they hosted to celebrate their anniversary. Despite their dislike for me, I was actually pleased they invited me. However, when we arrived, I found myself ignored by everyone. If being ignored by 3 people was embarrassing, being ignored by about 42 people was even worse. I clung to William's side, but nobody tried to engage with me. If I attempted to start a conversation, people would either look me up and down before walking away or continue talking to William as if I weren't there. As the night unfolded, I remained silent throughout, absorbing the unfolding events. By the end of the night, tears welled up in my eyes, fueled by a potent mix of humiliation and disgust at the collective behavior on display. Oliver and Luna were tasked with delivering a speech, a request from the crowd. Exhausted and eager to leave, I yearned for the comfort of home. However, their speech took an unexpected turn as they began expressing gratitude for nearly everyone present. An innocuous opening that turned out to be the prelude to a series of jabs specifically aimed at me. The guests, perhaps oblivious to the underlying tension, chuckled at each barb thrown my way. Faced with the mounting embarrassment, I abruptly rose from my seat, escaping the suffocating atmosphere. Summoning an Uber, I retreated to the solace of my home, tears streaming down my face. William returned later, his demeanor a mix of upset and anger. He questioned my decision to leave, emphasizing the embarrassment it caused him. Perplexed, I countered, highlighting the ordeal I endured, the ridicule from William's parents and the guests' pity. William dismissed my perspective, urging me to endure it for one night, especially considering it was his parents' anniversary. Frustrated, I explained the extent of the humiliation I experienced, emphasizing the public mockery by my in-laws during their toast. William, however, expected me to endure the ordeal and address the issue later. I vehemently refused, unwilling to subject myself to further humiliation. The conversation escalated as William demanded an apology from me, echoing his parents' sentiments. In a defiant stance, I refused, asserting that any apology from me would only come if they acknowledged their own wrongdoing. The stark difference in our perspectives became evident, with William contending that my actions had humiliated his family, while I argued that his parents had subjected me to public embarrassment. The rift deepened as William invoked his parents' perspective, suggesting that they might have been right about me. The weight of those words lingered in the air, casting a shadow over our relationship and leaving me to ponder the viability of a future with someone whose allegiance seemed to waver in the face of familial discord. William proved to be insufferable that night, retreating to the guest bedroom for sleep. The abrupt shift in his behavior left me perplexed. Was my departure from his parents' gathering truly that reprehensible? William had always been my staunch defender, particularly in the face of his parents' predictable disapproval of me. Walking out should have been a conspicuous signal of the profound discomfort they inflicted upon me. However, William appeared indifferent to my feelings. In the ensuing week, William maintained a stoic silence, and I found myself inundated with accusatory texts from his parents branding me as ungrateful and an embarrassment. My attempts to engage William in conversation were met with refusal. Eventually, I begrudgingly acquiesced and extended apologies to both him and his parents. The act was humbling, but my love for William compelled me to endure it, hoping it wouldn't become the insurmountable obstacle in our relationship. Subsequent events unfolded even more unfavorably for me. William's parents retired, dedicating a significant portion of their time to hosting family dinners weekly. William was always extended an invitation. On the first occasion, he brought me along, introducing an undeniable tension into the atmosphere the moment I stepped into their home. Oliver, preoccupied with preparations, initially overlooked my presence. However, Luna and William's siblings exchanged awkward glances, refraining from engaging with me. William, too, left me isolated as he immersed himself in catching up with his family. The situation escalated when Oliver finally noticed me. Her reaction was explosive as she confronted me with rage, questioning my presence in her house. I attempted to clarify that we were invited for dinner, only to be met with vehement denial. According to Oliver, I had no place in their family, asserting that someone of my caliber did not deserve a spot in their esteemed lineage. The revelation of background checks on their children's spouses further underscored the depths of their disdain for me. This unwarranted hostility left me grappling with the profound question of whether love alone could overcome such vehement opposition and societal judgments. I categorically refuse to accept the notion that my worthiness to be a part of your family hinges solely on superficial factors. Your disdain for me based on appearance and financial status, coupled with the assertion that I could never integrate into your purportedly elite social circles, is not only shallow, but also disheartening. To express a desire to never see me again, solely due to these shallow considerations, is both hurtful and unjust. Why must you be so fixated on superficial qualities? Is there a fear that my mere existence could tarnish your social standing? Does my ability to bring happiness to your son not hold any significance? If wealth were directly correlated with happiness, numerous individuals would be billionaires by now. Your predisposition to judge and reject others based on such criteria only reinforces the stark contrast between our values. Perhaps I am not cut from the same superficial cloth as the rest of you. I place value on the essence of a person rather than their outward appearance or financial standing. It is disheartening that you never took the opportunity to acquaint yourself with who I truly am before passing unwarranted judgments. The moment William abruptly handed me money and instructed me to secure an Uber for myself was both bewildering and painful. I gazed at him in disbelief, wondering if this drastic change in behavior was an attempt to reconcile with his parents after the party. His mother's smirk added to the emotional turmoil I was experiencing. As I accepted the money and left, tears welled up in my eyes, leaving me questioning the sincerity of William's actions and the dynamics at play within his family. The Uber ride became another solitary journey marked by confusion and sorrow, as I grappled with the abrupt transformation in William's demeanor and the underlying reasons behind it. I found myself hurt and angered by William's indifference to his parents using my past as an insult, and his subsequent defense of them rather than supporting me, as he typically did. The desire to unleash my frustration through yelling and screaming tugged at me, but I restrained myself, realizing it would only reinforce the negative image they held of me. Instead, I chose to walk away, contemplating whether I had crossed any boundaries during the confrontation. Upon reflection, I couldn't identify any wrongdoing. I had simply asserted myself calmly. William's return home marked a resumption of his silent treatment. The isolation weighed heavily on my heart, intensifying the feeling of loneliness. While William likely anticipated another apology, I couldn't muster the strength to offer one, especially considering Oliver's blatant and hurtful insult. If anything, I expected an apology from William for his failure to defend me. For the ensuing 3 weeks, William and I maintained a cold silence, initially challenging but eventually becoming a somber routine. The family dinners persisted, leaving me alone at home about once a week, a solitude I grew accustomed to. One evening, amidst the regular loneliness, my parents reached out through a video call. They greeted me warmly, expressing concern about my well-being and offering assistance. Although appreciative, I doubted their ability to remedy the specific issue at hand. When asked about William, I reluctantly shared the predicament, detailing the wealth and snobbery of his parents and the consequent humiliation I endured during their encounters. My parents expressed disdain for such judgmental individuals and empathized with my plight. As I began recounting the last encounter, I hesitated, the emotional weight of the situation evident in my voice. My parents urged me to continue, eager to understand the full extent of the ordeal and provide whatever support they could. I found myself seething with anger as William's mom resorted to calling me an orphan, a derogatory comment that struck a deep nerve. The audacity of her insult fueled my desire to retaliate, contemplating ways to confront her for such a heartless remark. William's silence in all of this perplexed me. Why hadn't he stepped in to defend me, his partner? Frustrated and hurt, I chose not to disclose the existence of my parents to them initially, fearing that revealing the truth might alter their perception of me. My intent was for them to appreciate me for who I am, independent of my family background, placing value on genuine connection rather than material wealth. However, William's unexpected alignment with his parents and his belief that my standing up for myself was disrespectful left me questioning the foundation of our relationship. Sharing my ordeal with my parents through a video call, I expressed my frustration with William's family and their judgmental attitudes. My mom, outraged by the insult, questioned my commitment to a man who stood by as his family disrespected me. Despite my love for William, I found myself pondering whether this was the relationship I truly desired. The silent rift between us for the past 3 weeks, coupled with his alignment with his parents, left me surprisingly okay with the idea of not speaking to him. My parents, concerned for my well-being, offered their support, including the assistance of the best lawyer should I decide to take legal action. I confided in them, admitting that I might need their help in navigating the challenges ahead. As my mom assured me of their commitment, she also hinted at a potential silver lining. My parents were planning to visit next week and suggested a joint vacation to lift my spirits. Thrilled at the prospect of seeing my parents in person, a genuine source of happiness in the midst of turmoil, I eagerly anticipated their arrival. The two of us continued our conversation, during which my dad outlined a plan to assist me in confronting the situation. In the course of our discussion, he inquired about the location of the family dinners William's parents hosted. Conveniently, the week my parents were scheduled to visit coincided with a dinner at a restaurant. Recognizing an opportunity to gather crucial information, I accessed William's email, knowing Oliver and Luna's penchant for sharing details through electronic correspondence. Acquiring the location, I was now equipped to provide my parents with the necessary information to address the situation. Upon initiating the divorce proceedings with the assistance of my mom's lawyer friend, I received unwavering support from my parents, who had just arrived in the States. Eager to offer comfort and a semblance of normalcy, we met for lunch at their hotel, and they graciously treated me to a spa day, recognizing the need for a respite amidst the challenging times. As they prepared for a calculated confrontation with my in-laws, they wanted me to indulge in self-care, emphasizing that I deserved it. With my parents stepping into action, they decided to visit the restaurant where William and his family were dining. According to my dad, the encounter unfolded with Luna and Oliver recognizing him, leading to a hushed discussion at their table. Recounting the event, my mom described the conversation. "Hello, oh my gosh, Mr. Burns, what brings you here?" "Oh wow, I just happened to see some familiar faces and figured I could drop in and probably dine with you." "Familiar faces? Who are you speaking about, Mr. Burns?" "Well, I see William." "Me? Well, hello, a pleasure to meet you. Your daughter has spoken a lot about you, but speaking of my daughter, where is she?" "Your daughter? I'm afraid you're mistaken, I don't think she's here." "But she should be, right?" "I'm sorry, Mr. Burns, but we didn't even know that you had a daughter." "Of course I do, and she's married to William." "What? I'm sorry, but I think you're mistaken. Yes, his wife's name is Ava and she was an orphan." "Yes, I do know that, and that is why we adopted her." "Excuse me, you're her—" The revelation that I had been adopted by my parents left William's family stunned, attempting to process the unforeseen twist in the narrative. The strategic move not only debunked the false claim of me being an orphan, but also positioned my parents as my legal guardians. This unexpected turn of events was both a powerful response to the insults hurled at me and a tactical maneuver to reclaim control over the narrative. "Dad, yes, and from what I see, she isn't here. She's been telling me that there have been some problems with her in-laws, but I see what the problem was. It was you. No, she was the one who hid this huge thing from us. If we knew, you would have treated her better. She didn't want you to treat her nicely because of her background." My dad's firm yet composed words cut through the tension in the restaurant, exposing the truth to William's family. The revelation that I had been concealing my adoption from them served as a pivotal moment, shifting the blame for the strained relationship onto their prejudices and misconceptions. My dad took a decisive step, handing William the divorce papers before dignifiedly leaving. The bold move aimed to liberate me from a toxic relationship and offer closure amid the unfolding drama. The repercussions of our strategic actions didn't take long to manifest. A series of phone calls initiated by my dad prompted numerous investors to withdraw their support from Luna's business. The once thriving enterprise quickly plummeted, mirroring the levels they had once mocked. Witnessing their downfall brought a sense of vindication, a poetic justice to the derision they had subjected me to. In the aftermath, my phone buzzed incessantly with a barrage of texts from William's family. Some were laden with derogatory names, while others pleaded with me to intervene and reverse the consequences of my dad's actions. However, I remained steadfast, unwavering in my commitment to self-respect and moving forward. William, thankfully, signed the divorce papers without resistance, signaling the formal end to our tumultuous marriage. Embracing the support of my parents, we embarked on a rejuvenating vacation. The experience allowed me to heal, albeit slowly. The pain of losing the love of my life lingered, but the journey also illuminated the importance of standing up for oneself and the value of self-advocacy. I am forever grateful to my parents for their unwavering support and decisive actions. Their resilience in challenging a toxic situation allowed me to break free and reclaim control over my life. As I look ahead, I'm eager to see what life has in store for me, fortified by the lessons learned and the newfound strength to face whatever challenges may come my way.